Hello, and thank you so much for joining us today for today's MobileCause webinar, 3 Uses of a Landing Page to Improve Fundraising Campaign Results. I'm Scott Couchman, the training manager at MobileCause. Now, if your nonprofit has been on the hunt for one of the best ways to boost campaign efficiency, simplicity, and giving for your next great fundraising campaign, then we have a solution for you: landing pages. Now, today we're going to look at 3 invaluable ways to use a landing page, all the tools you need when setting them up, and some great strategies to maximize their effectiveness. We'll also show how one nonprofit put an event landing page to work for their annual gala and made an even bigger difference for their cause. Now, we welcome your participation. So as we explore the benefits of using an event landing page for your fundraising efforts. So please feel free to ask any questions by submitting them into the questions box on your GoToWebinar control panel. We'll answer your questions during the webinar and also at the end when we have an open Q&A session with our experts. We really hope you enjoy today's webinar. And as a quick reminder, we will be sending out the recording and slides to all our registrants afterwards. Now, today's webinar is presented by MobileCause. MobileCause understands the everyday challenges nonprofits face, constantly confronted with limited resources, yet still expected to expand your impact. You shouldn't have to face these challenges alone, and that's why MobileCause offers more than comprehensive fundraising software. We also provide one-on-one strategy from dedicated fundraising experts and have the industry's best support team ready to provide assistance 24/7. At MobileCause, we're just as committed to your cause as you are, and together we can grow your nonprofit like never before. Now, let me introduce you to our wonderful presenters. Leanne DeRouche, PhD, is the Executive Director of the Domestic Violence Legal Empowerment and Appeals Project, or DV-LEAP, a nonprofit in Washington, D.C. DV-LEAP provides access to justice and safety for survivors of domestic violence across the U.S. by overturning unjust trial court outcomes through pro bono legal appeals. Laurel Lane is an account manager at MobileCause, where she has advised and guided countless nonprofits to help grow their missions and inspire more giving. Now, today we have an informative agenda for you, packed with useful insights, tools, and takeaways. We'll take an in-depth look at why landing pages are vital for nonprofit fundraising, how they can simplify your marketing, and how nonprofits of any size can use them to boost revenue and reach. And then we'll hear from Leanne on how DV-LEAP used an event landing page for their annual gala and increased revenue by 89%. All right, now before we begin discussing the 3 uses of a landing page to improve fundraising campaign results, we do have a quick poll question for everyone. So let me go ahead and open up this poll here and launch it here. So you should now see it on your screen. So is your nonprofit currently using landing pages to manage your fundraising campaigns? And your choices are yes for events, yes for online campaigns, yes for general informations, or no. All right, so getting our results in. All right, good number of you voting already. Let's see, we get a little bit more. All right, looks like we're slowing down. So go ahead and close this out here. Interesting results. Nice to know where people are. Let me go ahead and share the results. So the majority of you are not using landing pages, and that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, it's very close to each other for the other types of things, whether it's for events, online campaigns, and general information. So really, kind of interesting to see that. And well, hey, good news. Wherever you're at or not with using a landing page, our webinar today is going to have some truly helpful tips and ideas for your next campaign. So let's get back into it here. So join me in welcoming, get it, there we go, Laura Lane to start us off with 3 uses of a landing page to improve fundraising campaign results. And give control to you, Laurel, and over to you.
Hi. Hi, Scott. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Well, hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Laurel. I'm an account manager here at Mobile Cause. I have been very privileged to be with Mobile Cause and work with the nonprofit industry for a little bit of over 6 years now. So I am super excited to be here with all of you today and sharing the ways your organization can benefit from landing pages. Um, before I dive into that, though, I want to make sure we are all on the same page on what a landing page actually is. And so we can go in and discuss that as well. So, in the traditional marketing sense, a landing page is a standalone web page, and it's created for a marketing or advertising campaign. So, it's the page where a visitor lands after clicking in an email or an online ad, or they do a web search, or there's a social media link. And a landing page is typically streamlined with a single message and a single call to action, because the goal of the landing page is to increase conversions on the one action it is supporting. So, for example, for all of you here on the webinar today, you registered for this webinar on a landing page. Now, a web page, on the other hand, typically has many goals and encourages exploration. So, a web page is a resource for a topic or organization and has many pages, links, and options for the visitor. Okay. Now, when we refer to a landing page specifically in the nonprofit world, we are talking about a standalone web page promoting your organization, your fundraising campaign, or your event. And it's a single page with all of the key information. So the goals of the nonprofit landing page are to provide all the key campaign information in one easy to find, use and share place that encourages and influences visitors to donate, sign up, register, and more, actually, quite a bit. So why should a landing page be a part of every fundraising campaign? Well, I have a few reasons. First, it becomes the central hub for both your organization and your donors. A landing page consolidates and simplifies links to multiple calls to action, so making it easier to manage and easier for supporters to navigate. Second, a landing page makes an emotional impact. So a strong landing page quickly tells your story in a powerful and coherent way. Third, it provides all the important information in one place, including your mission, event location, campaign dates, and more. And a landing page streamlines promotional efforts because with one link or keyword and short code, you drive supporters to everything they need for your organization or campaign. A landing page is also easier to manage and update than a website and does not require the need to understand code, which is important because most of us don't know how to do that. And a landing page is optimized for site speed, so which increases conversion rates over slower sites. And then lastly, it is mobile optimized, creating a positive user experience no matter where the visitor is or what device they are using. So regardless of which of the three ways you are using a landing page, they should all include the following: concise and inspiring mission statement about your organization that tells your story in a powerful and coherent way. You should include compelling images that will move and motivate your supporters. Bold and prominent buttons that enable visitors to identify and complete the desired action. Impact metrics, so donors know precisely how the amount of their gift may impact your organization and inspire a higher giving level. And include links to the desired calls to action and links for easy social media sharing. So now that we've established what landing pages are, why are they important, and what should be universally included on them? So let's dive into some specific uses of them and how they differ. So the first use of a landing page is for a live fundraising event. An event page makes planning, managing, and hosting an event easier and more efficient. So an event page should include things like information about your organization and your mission, of course, the name of your event and any theme, the date, time, location, directions, information on sponsoring the event, ability to purchase a sponsor package, and then promotion of the sponsors as they come on board by including their logo and link to their website. Of course, an event, you need volunteers, so you definitely want to promote some volunteer opportunities and make it easy for folks to register as such. And definitely fun images from past events. So, or showing your beneficiaries or program in action. The calls to action on an event page should be strong, clear, and urgent, and can include the ability to buy individual tickets or register or RSVP, give the ability for any special requests, become a sponsor for the event, become a table captain, sign up as a volunteer, and of course, donate. Always be able to make a donation. The second use of a landing page is for a day of giving or virtual fundraising campaign. So a landing page is an easy and effective way to get the word out about the campaign and drive giving. It can also recruit fundraisers and provide other ways for supporters to get involved with your organization. So for a day of giving, a landing page should include things like, obviously, information about your organization and mission, details on the campaign, the peer-to-peer fundraising capabilities and recruiting information, a countdown clock to create a sense of urgency, and any videos and photos of beneficiaries, programs in action, or supporters. And be sure you add social sharing buttons on the home page. A day of giving and virtual campaigns are all done online, so it's crucial that you motivate your audience on those platforms. Also, driving actions for a day of giving or virtual campaign should and can include things like becoming a fundraiser, making a donation, signing up to become a volunteer, and just simply the ability to request some additional information. The third use of a landing page is a website. For smaller nonprofits, landing pages can be an effective substitute for a website by providing all the key elements with far more ease and simplicity in setting them up and managing them than a traditional website. So used as a microsite, nonprofits can include that clear and compelling information about your organization, including your mission statement, who you're serving, how supporters can get involved, the story of your organization, drive multiple calls to action for signups and registrations, requesting information, and last but never least, making a donation. And the calls to action on a microsite can include giving, becoming a volunteer, signing up as a fundraiser, signing up to receive your e-newsletter, being able to share your story, requesting information, and just various ways that they can get involved. One of the benefits of a landing page is the simplicity of sharing and promoting it. With one link or keyword, you can drive donors, supporters, volunteers, and attendees to your event or landing page. And best practices, I recommend including links to your landing page in your email communication and your social media posts, providing the landing page URL in your direct mail collateral, and share the campaign or event keyword and short code in any videos you're doing, on your images. If you're using television and radio, that media, include them there, and of course in your voicemails. And as you can see from on this Facebook post, the link to the event page is in the body of the post, because if a reader's on social media, it's easiest to link directly to the page and include the keyword and, of course, hashtags on visuals and videos so they can be seen, remembered, and easily used when the link isn't handy or if they're watching from a different device other than a mobile device. So there you go. The 3 ways that you can use a landing page to create impact for your organization and campaign. So Scott, I'll hand it back over to you.
Thanks, Laurel. Thank you for all the helpful information on setting up and maximizing your event landing page and all the definitions here. Now, as a quick reminder, if you have any questions, you can submit them into the question box on your control panel as we go along. And now, let me get the controls going here. All right, so let's turn it over to Leanne DeRoos of DVLeap and how these tools helped their annual gala increase revenue and bring in new donors and streamline their efforts. So, okay, Leanne, take it away.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much, Scott, and thank you so much, Laurel. I really appreciate being invited by MobileCause to participate today and tell the listeners a little bit more about our experience. I've been at DVLeap, which is the Domestic Violence Legal Empowerment and Appeals Project, for 2.5 years. And for 2 of those years, we've used MobileCause. And I have to say that it is one of the best, truly one of the best decisions that I made as an executive director, and one of the best investments that we made in terms of adding tools to our toolbox was to have this platform. And I'm going to happy to tell you a little bit more about it. So there's our lovely team in front of the U.S. Supreme Court building. As Scott mentioned, we are based in Washington, D.C. We just had a case before the U.S. Supreme Court in December. We provide pro bono legal appeals to domestic violence survivors in D.C. and across the U.S. We partner with law firms to provide that free service, and we are the only nonprofit in the U.S. that provides this service, and we've been doing it for 16 years now. So, and in fact, let me just make a point about that photo. That is our staff. So we're a smaller nonprofit, but that photo also includes one of our donors who attended our event, who texted to donate, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later, $1,000 that night, and has now funded an entire position for a new attorney on our staff. And so just speaks to the power of these tools and the ways that they can be used. So that just tells you a little bit more about DVLeap and about us. So we hold, on the 2.5 years I've been on staff, we have an annual gala. And when I came on board, then we decided to change up the event and what we were doing. And we were holding it at the Newseum, which is in DC. Some of you may have actually visited the Newseum before. It is now closed, but we had the opportunity to have 2 events there. Our Goodwill ambassador is actress Abigail Spencer, who's featured here. If she looks familiar to you, she was in Suits. She was on Timeless on NBC. She's in a new Hulu series now called Reprisal, if she looks familiar to you. So Abigail was our featured guest as our ambassador. And part of what we do that night is recognize our clients that we've served. We use it as an opportunity to recognize the law firms that provide the pro bono legal appeals and honor our volunteers and the staff. So basically everybody who makes our work possible attends that night, and we probably have attendance would be around 175 people. So one of the challenges that we had prior to us getting the software Mobile Cause is that we had not had a way, the organization hadn't had a way previously to integrate the ticket sales, the sponsorships, everything they were doing in the website. So what they did was they had at the website, there was a separate link for a separate website that was all about the event, and it was incredibly cumbersome. So we needed to find a way to streamline that. We needed a way, we wanted something that was going to be slick, that was going to be at our website, that was easy for people to navigate. And I just want to say, I was a tough sell as a customer. So Mobile Cause had to work pretty hard to convince me that we needed to do this. And as I said at the beginning of my remarks, one of the best decisions that I made was to invest in this tool. It is more than paid for itself. I can't even tell you how many times over. I would have to do the math, but it has absolutely positively been worth it for us to do it. So I can't say enough good things about the experience that we've had with the platform, and I am not a tech savvy person. So that speaks volumes as well about how user friendly it is. So we use this web page or this platform and built out our website in a really helpful way. And so I want to give you a little bit of a look at that. So when you went to our homepage, we actually had a box, that a little icon that you could click on that had the name of our event, which was Tip the Scale. So you could click on that, and that would take you into our website, then to the landing page. And, you know, for example, there was information such as you'll see on this screen, it was the levels of sponsorship. So it's usually the law firms that sponsor us, and you can see there that that information was displayed on the landing page for our event. And then if you go to, if you take a look at this one, you'll see this is what people saw if they were going to actually purchase tickets. So that's, we featured the museum, the building itself, because it's so attractive and people here know about the museum. And so we wanted to highlight that on our landing page, and so you see it here. And then there's an example of what the form looked like if you were going to purchase tickets. And again, we found that all of it was to create it, and also in terms of using it to be quite user friendly. And if we had any issues at all, we would just call Mobile Cause, and the staff would help us troubleshoot that. So we had a lot of assistance and felt confident in what we were doing. When we did it, of course, it was easier the second year that we did it, and we then worked, you know, we already had the template, we sort of had the drill, knew the drill, so it was easier for us to just adjust everything the second time around. And just so you know, the first year we used it, I created the landing page and did the work with, I had a high school student who was an intern. And, you know, he was just, it wasn't like he was some super tech savvy high school kid. He was just your average high school kid who has some knowledge of technology, and between two of us we created it, and we found all of it to be, again, quite user friendly. So we needed a place where people could go easily to do everything, to learn about the event, to learn more about DV Leap. It was a chance for us to show off on the landing page. There was a scrolling screen across the top that featured Abigail Spencer and all of our donors, and listed all the people on the gala committee and highlighted the co-chairs. And it's a great one-stop shop for us to be able to share a lot of information. And we loved it for that. It just streamlined everything. They could order their tickets, just make a straight up donation. There was a thermometer there to show how we were doing towards our goal. And, you know, as an executive director, I just have to say, we did meet our goal. Even though it says 134,000 out of 150, we had donors that came through who couldn't attend the event that night, who came through afterwards. And so we actually were able to meet our goal both years. And so we were just thrilled about that. People love the thermometer and being able to see sort of, and we do too. So as staff, we sort of became addicted to it because we want to see who's donated and where we are with things. And that actually prompted us to do follow-up then, which was great to make sure that people have gotten their tickets or done their sponsorship. So it was helpful for staff as well as for anybody else who was thinking about attending the event. Let's move on here to the next slide, and I'll tell you a little bit more. We used then social media like crazy to get the word out. And what's so fabulous is that there's just a link, right? So we could just put that out on Instagram, on our Facebook page, on Twitter. It was everywhere, and it was so convenient. You know, then you hear from individuals, like individual donors, somebody who says, hey, I'm interested, what do I need to do? You just boom, send them the link, and then takes them right to where they need to be to make the sponsorship, to buy the tickets, to make a donation, whatever it is. You know, the landing page was another way for us to recognize people like our awardees that we were going to be recognizing that night as well as the sponsors. So again, the landing page had many purposes that we could use it for, which was just fantastic. And then we also, the other feature about this that we again love, absolutely love, is the text to donate option. So we used, it's a part of the package, and we used it 2 years in a row that night. I can't remember how much we raised in the room that night. The first year, it's all a bit of a blur, but the second year, this past October, we raised over $32,000 in like 10 minutes. And I've been to a bigger event. We actually learned from these folks. There's another organization in DC, and they have a massive annual gala. It's like 700 people, and I've been to theirs both years because they use Mobile Cause and the text to donate. It was phenomenal to see how much they raised with that many people in the room. We have about 175 people in the room. You know, they're raising a couple 100,000 in like 15 minutes. And we knew those folks already, and that was super helpful to us that we were able to talk to them about how they used Mobile Cause, and they were fabulous about helping us sort of think through the steps, as well as the Mobile Cause staff. But it was just great. We actually went over to the office of this other nonprofit and talked to their development person and said, hey, can you walk us through? Could you answer some questions? What did you find worked well? What were some maybe challenges that we need to consider? And that was between them and the Mobile Cause staff. That was all we needed to help us really create something that was going to be terrific. So we had ambassadors in the room that night that had little name badges that said, you know, ask me for help. We had the info about how to text to donate, like in the program. So we were really set. And then we had a key to this is to have 2 people up on the stage who are really sort of dynamic, who can spur the crowd on and challenge them. And they were a lot of fun, and they made it fun. And we had plants in the room, people we talked to in advance who'd been there the year before, who we knew were going to make significant size donations, like maybe $2,000 or $5,000. And so they were the first ones to text to donate, and that sort of primes the pump. So, you know, it's fun. It's just such a fun moment. And there were tech people at the museum that you're going to have anyway to help you with everything that you're doing that night. And we had done a run through with them. They were great. So again, team effort and just a blast, and such a great way to raise money in the moment. So can't say enough good things about text to donate. We're using it at happy hours now and other smaller events. So it's just really been terrific for us. So let's go on here to the next slide. So there are 2 slides here with some numbers to sort of show you how well we've done for the first year compared to the second year, but just take a look at that very first percentage. The first year we used Mobile Cause for our event, we increased the total revenue from the previous year's event by 89%. And that previous year had been an all-time high for the organization. So it's incredible, the increase that we experienced, because of, it wasn't just, you know, to be fair, it wasn't just about the tool and the platform of Mobile Cause. We'll never be able to know how much it contributed. You know, we changed our venue, but all of those things combined, we knew what we were doing. We were creating this whole experience, and we needed the Mobile Cause platform to be a part of that overall experience that we were including in this new venue that was the museum, et cetera. So no, it was a total success for us. And let's compare it to what happened the next year. And we had great attendance both years in terms of people who actually showed up, people we could invite, and then people who actually showed up. We had great percentages. And I think that's because of this tool, frankly, because it's so engaging when they buy their tickets to go online and do this. I think it feels like a real commitment to people. Before, we just had paper tickets and we were sending them, and oh my gosh, way too involved. And to use technology, it just makes you look like you know what you're doing, and you're cutting edge by having a tool like this in your toolbox. So perception wise, I think it did a lot for the organization as well. So year two, if you take a look, our sponsorships were up. And we didn't know what would happen in the second year, which was actually this last October when we had the event, because the year before was our 15th anniversary. So people are going to show up, people are going to make bigger donations. But what happens the year after a 15th anniversary? Is anybody going to show up? Is anybody going to donate? What's going to happen? And in fact, we had it all went really well for us again. And so that was fabulous news for us. And you can see that while ticket sales were down, there's an explanation for that. It's a small amount, but that's because the sponsorships were up. Because with our sponsorships, you get free tickets. So that explains why the ticket sales were down just slightly. And our text to donate was basically about the same. And that's without one of our major donors showing up that night, who normally gives like $15,000. He couldn't be there that night. So the fact that we held steady on the text to donate amount without him says a lot, right? And we had a lot of people who were coming back that had been there the year before. And so they knew the drill also. It's like, oh yeah, they're going to do the text to donate thing. And so people knew how to do it. And I really pushed having younger people this past year as well and catered to that demographic. And I think that also really made a difference for us. And you can see that our RSVPs were really high once again, which was fabulous. And I think a lot of it's because the experience that we were creating that included using this platform. So with that, I will just say that I look forward to your questions. We've had a fabulous experience by using MobileCause. Really excited to figure out how else we can maximize that tool. It is more than paid for itself, and we have just had a terrific experience working with the staff. And I can very sincerely say all of these things. We've been in the thick of it, and with using this. And again, I'm not a tech savvy person, and so the fact that we could do it with such great success and with such a small team, I think just speaks volumes about the utility and the value of this particular tool. And I would recommend it to anybody to add it to your own toolbox. So with that, I will turn it back over to you, Scott.
Well, thank you. Thank you both, Laurel and Leanne, for sharing your valuable expertise and stories today. So we really hope everyone here is inspired to implement landing pages into their upcoming fundraising campaigns. Now, before we go ahead and jump into our Q&A, we have a few questions, so feel free to start putting in those questions. We do have a poll, so we want to ask you, are you interested in learning some more? So let me go ahead and open that poll here, and just want to get a feel for it. There we go, should be open. All right, let's see, get some responses in here. All right, still trickling in. We'll give it another few seconds, so get your answers in. All right, looks like we slowed down, so let me go ahead and close that. All right, well, thank you for that. And so let's get into some Q&A here. So this is where we answer some of the questions that you sent us. So again, please feel free to submit any others as we go along. So first off, let me find it here. The first question I have is for Laurel. And get the right one here to start us off. Okay, so is a site page on a website the same thing as a landing page?
Well, a site page is, in the traditional marketing sense, it is. As I had explained earlier, yes, when you all registered for this webinar, it was a landing page. It has a point call to action. So you could have a single page on your website kind of mimic a landing page in the traditional marketing sense. But as we're talking about it, As a like an event page or a web page, I would say no,
Okay.
not the same.
All right. So sort of the follow-up that John had on that as well is, would you give the event site page URL in your communications, or like from your website first?
Well, I think the web page, as we're talking about it here today, this landing page where you've got, this all these compelling different calls to actions, and information like about your event or your campaign, that does have a direct URL. And so almost like think of it as a one-stop shop. So I would include that link, because all of the information about that event or about that campaign, it is in one location, one spot. There's not a lot of navigation required and a bunch of clicks from your supporter.
Okay, great. So next one we have here is for Leanne. Did you have any complaints or concerns from donors or board members regarding attendees' ability to text to donate, and how did you overcome those?
Well, thanks for the question. People were very curious. Our board members are, middle age and older, and so some have varying degrees of comfort level with using technology or using their phone to text to donate. Honestly, they loved it. They didn't see it as, they didn't have a concern at all. I think what really put their mind at ease was when we said, listen, we're going to give directions from the stage. There will be directions printed in the program, and we have people who will be going around the room. And we told people that, at the beginning of the evening, if you have any questions tonight at all about anything, look for the people with the red ribbons that say, ask me. And that, they said, okay, great, let's do it. They saw the value of being able to raise money in the moment in a very short amount of time. And that absolutely outweighed any hesitancy that they had about using phones to text to donate and using technology in that way.
Great, great. All right, next one we have. All right. Let's see. So, Laurel, I got one here for you. How do you get people's undivided attention during a gala? You've worked with a lot of organizations. What have you seen that works there?
How do you get their attention about the event?
Yeah.
If I'm understanding the question correctly. Okay. Marketing and promotion are key. Utilizing your email, direct mail, and especially your social media for sure. In Mobile Cause, of course, we have a wonderful communication channel, text messaging. So you can also send out save the dates via text and include links to your landing page.
All right, and so also just to get someone who's in it as well, Leanne, same basic question. How did you get people's undivided attention during that gala to with the text to donate and everything?
It followed a program. So we have a very, very short program as a part of our event. So there's a podium and sort of a central focus in the room. And what we did was, again, the key to making this work is you've got to have at least one or two people who are super dynamic, who can get up there and just say, all right, everybody, it's time to get out your phones and let's text to donate. And so they were just fun, and that, the staff and the board members were all around the room, so they knew also that this was the moment to sort of get everybody to direct their attention to the stage. And we actually had an a cappella group, a volunteer a cappella group that was there that night, and we had them primed and ready to go, so that if there was ever a lull, now again, we had people, plants in the crowd who were all ready to text to donate. They did the theme from Jeopardy! Which was hilarious, because there was this one little moment where it was sort of quiet, and so they did that, and it was fabulous. I've heard other organizations have done things like, they've often venues will actually have like a little chime that you can ring to get people's attention or to draw them into the middle of the room. But a big part of it that's key is to have those either one or two people on this stage who've got the microphone to just rally everybody and who are just super dynamic, that are going to get everybody's attention and then lead them into the text to donate moment.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love the a cappella group there. It's kind of fun. Okay, let's see. One for Laurel. Okay, I'm with a new nonprofit, and we're just getting started. Can I really use a landing page as our website?
Yes, absolutely. Because of the functionality of that landing page, it does act as a microsite. So you can have, giving opportunities on there, volunteers, opportunities, your mission statement, your videos, your compelling images, everything that truly represents who you are as an organization. It's so wonderfully interactive and is beautifully designed. So absolutely use that as your microsite or as a website.
Great. All right, and yeah, so next question here is from Marie, and this one is for Leanne. Is there a preferred date to hold an annual gala, and why did you hold your gala in October?
That's a great question. So October happens to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and so it's the perfect opportunity and perfect moment for us to hold such an event. The one thing I would say that has been a challenge for us is, you're going from your end of year then in like December with smaller fundraisers, and then our big one is in October. So that's a long stretch, so you've got to have revenue projections and know what you're going to be doing for revenue between your end of year and that October. One thing that we weren't sure about is what it would do to our end of year. So having an event in October, what would that mean for our end of year fundraising? Would we see a hit? Because people would say, well, I just gave you in October, I'm not going to give in December. It's two different groups of people. So we've had no negative implications whatsoever with that. The people that come to our gala and donate there are some of the same people that get end of year, but we find that most of our end of year givers are a different set of people.
Okay, great. Let's see. For Laurel, we have Jason who asks, we have an upcoming day of giving. On the actual day of giving, should we drive supporters to the landing page or to the donation page?
Oh, definitely the landing page, because that's going to give you an opportunity to provide more information about your day of giving, um, the beneficiaries of your day of giving, who it's serving. So, a donation page is just simply that, a form to make a donation. Landing page is a much richer experience and can truly promote your day of giving.
Okay, all right. So next one more for another one for Leanne. How far in advance do you start planning your event?
Pretty much as soon as it's over. So as soon as the event is over, then we do a debrief with the staff and with the gala committee. And then we start right away thinking about the next year's event. So it begins right away. We move into the end of year, which takes a lot of time. So it really is around about now, February, that we really start hitting the ground running in terms of thinking about approaching the sponsors and the venue and all of that. So we're going to be dramatically changing up our event this year because now the museum is closed and we're going to be doing something different than we have before. But yeah, we pretty much don't take much of a rest before we start right into it again.
So he's busy. Yeah, keep up
That's
to
right.
there. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I got another one here for you, Leanne. What advice do you have for smaller nonprofits struggling to scale up their attendance and event results?
Well, we've been there. So we're in the same boat, I think. We only have three staff, like three and a half staff. So we're quite small ourselves and a budget, that's around $350,000. So this was an investment for us to be able to do it. But again, it's more than paid for itself. So I think that if you could find a donor, perhaps to even pay for all the subscription or part of the subscription to the service for 1 year would be great. I know you'll see results right away. I think you using social media is going to be important. And so if you're not already using social media, part of it depends on the demographic and who it is that you're trying to appeal to and get to come to your events. We find that most of the people that are involved or are our supporters are at least on Facebook, if nothing else. So that was a great way for us to begin to push it. And I think having a gala committee really is helpful. So having a group of people who then can reach out to their own networks to sell tickets and to get people to come is also hugely important. So we really rely on the gala committee to be involved and to be helpful with that.
All right, next one here for Leanne again. This one's from Marie again. How much help did MobileCause give you in helping with verbiage, pictures, videos to use on the landing page?
Great question. We pretty much did the content all ourselves. I like having that. I like doing that sort of work. And so a lot of the content, and in fact, all the content was ours. MobileCause, you have the template, you just sort of plug your stuff in. Where MobileCause was helpful was troubleshooting around that. Like if we were trying to make an adjustment to the template somehow or needed, we couldn't quite figure out how to make something scroll, whatever, we just didn't realize what we needed to do. So we would, we would just call up MobileCause and we would get help then in that way. So we determined the content, picked the pictures, did all that ourselves.
Okay. All right, next one here is from Sam for Laurel. How does the text to donate technology work? Does the donation go onto their phone bill directly or their credit card attached to their bill? Or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. So, without give you the Reader's Digest version, of course, the very first text to give was billing a flat $5 or $10 rate to your cell phone bill. It was a little problematic because first it restricted how much a supporter could give, and of course, you as an organization trying to build your database weren't capturing the donor information. So MobileCause did pioneer the technology to move it away and off of the carriers, where instead now we text that word to that 5-digit number, and now we have that beautiful branded donation form where supporter can give any amount they wish. They can make it a recurring gift. Here's all my contact information. So it's really revolutionized how donors can give using today's technology. So, yep, we kind of moved away from the carrier. We now do everything through credit card or, debit card, whatever you want to use on the form.
And if I can just piggyback on that, what people love is the fact that, you have a big screen and the thermometer is there at your event, and people love seeing their name go up on the screen and their dollar amount, and they don't have to. They can choose to be anonymous. You can just click a button and it can be anonymous, and your $25 goes up on the screen, or your $2,500 go up on the screen. Most people love seeing their name up there with the dollar amount. So that's scrolling as people are donating, and then people have fun and they'll put they put in Elvis Presley for $50, and then they can put in their credit card info then, or they can do it later if they want. And what's beautiful about the MobileCause platform is that it follows up. I don't have to do that. It follows up with the people. So if someone doesn't forgets and doesn't fulfill their, doesn't put in their credit card information, MobileCause actually sends text messages to remind them. And I have to say, it works, because we will go through and take a look at maybe who hasn't fulfilled. It's a very small number of people that haven't, and then we call them up and just say, hey, just want to remind you, don't forget about, and that works too. So it really, it's a lot of fun to be able to use that tool. People seem to have a blast with it.
Yeah, thanks, Laurel and Leanne on that. And yeah, just to clarify one of the pieces of that, one of the big differences versus like a carrier build is with the text to donate type of technology, the organization gets all of the donors' info so that, yeah, you can contact them and cultivate them into, that relationship into a more lifelong style of supporter. So yeah, it's always nice to have that there. And also, as I've been reading through the questions, I did want to clarify one other thing. Also, with the one on like, how much did MobileCause help? It really also depends on the organization. Some people do need more help, and we're more than happy to help with with verbiage, with pictures and things like that. Or hey, if you've got it, great, you can do that too. So reading through these questions here, I got the next one here. Got a lot of great questions. So next one is coming from Richard for Leanne. How much does the gala translate to additional engagement from donors throughout the year?
Great question. So as Scott was just mentioning, once people have done, for example, like the text to donate, or they've just gone to the landing page and purchased tickets or sponsored, now we've got their information. So we have a lot of people that come to the event that are there as guests of the sponsors. So they aren't necessarily people that we have known before. And so now we've got their email, we've got their telephone number. So we add them to our newsletter list. So now they've become part of our database, and we can use, we need to move into this and take advantage of this part of the tool, but being able to text people, for another smaller campaign or the next event or whatever. And we'll be moving in that direction to make that happen. So we have found it really valuable for picking up new people, mostly because of the whole text to donate and all of the guests that are there that night that then donate, and we wouldn't have their info otherwise.
All right, great. Checking here, I think we've hit pretty much the majority of our questions. Yeah, I think we've kind of hit them there. So with that, okay, so I will draw this to a close here. Come to the conclusion of our Q&A. Now, before we leave, if you're interested in discovering how MobileCause can help maximize your fundraising efforts so you can raise more with less time and effort, or if you'd like to schedule a personalized one-on-one demo to see how MobileCause can help grow your nonprofit, please fill out our post-webinar survey. And I want to thank Laurel and Leanne for the fantastic answers, for the materials you presented today. And thank all of you again for attending, and best of luck in all of your fundraising efforts. We really look forward to seeing you again at next month's live webinar. So have a fantastic day, have a wonderful day, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.